Hey there, rioters, you beautiful feckers. Ready for another one of Brandon's super duper interesting tales of interest? Well, it's finally time to discuss what I'm doing here in Japan instead of Thailand. So as some of you may know, I moved to Thailand originally back in 2019. I was working there until early 2020, which is when COVID happened, and then the shit just hit the fan, man. And every school closed for about 4 months. And I wasn't earning money, so I had to skedaddle. So after 2 whole years of being back in Australia and being completely miserable and getting into a bit of mischief, I went back to Thailand earlier this year. Things started off great for the first couple of weeks. For the first 2 weeks of being in Thailand, I felt like I was on top of the world, like nothing could go wrong. And then it just kind of turned into some kind of downward spiral. The school had changed since last time I worked there. It just wasn't the same vibe. And every teacher there, whether they were from England, Australia, South Africa, America, whatever, like they were just so miserable and shitty. It just wasn't the same, you know, and a lot of it was because we were overworked, we were underpaid, we were treated as slaves to the company, and probably the same thing could happen here in Japan. I don't know, like I haven't heard good things about companies here that employ foreigners, so who knows, could be same shit, different smell. And then I went ahead and made that big mistake in Pattaya. I spoke on that briefly, you know, before, where I spent all my savings that I had from Australia. So that really screwed me over, like badly. Like I had to get a loan from a head teacher and everything and pay him back. So I ended up being broke. Like broke. I mean broke. But then after 3 months of work and everything, like I finally started to get my shit together, saved up a bit, learnt how to budget, all that kind of crap. And then COVID got me, the old son of a gun. So that wasn't good. So I was forced to take 2 weeks off work, even though it wasn't that bad. Like the only thing that COVID did to me, I know some people get COVID really bad, where it looks like their death warmed up, right? For me, it was really just a cough. Like I was just every now and then, but I had COVID. I didn't even have a fever. So even when they did the test on me, like it would have just said I was fine, even though I had COVID. So that's kind of worrying that some people have COVID, but you know, they don't really show anything. Because I was forced to take those 2 weeks off work, whether I needed it or not, you know, it would have sent me back to being broke again. Like it put me back in a bad position because it was 2 weeks unpaid. So I would have been screwed for the following month. So it would have sent me back into poverty. So at this point, I had like a bit of a silly moment, okay? And I just spent 2 weeks, those 2 weeks of quarantine, I just spent those drinking Lau Khao, okay, non-stop, okay, wake up till bedtime. Now, if you don't know what Lau Khao is, it's like a kind of Thailand's equivalent of Nihonshu, which foreigners know as sake. So it's Japanese rice wine, right? So it's just a super cheap, clear alcohol that's strong as fuck. And I would just mix it with Coke or Pepsi or sometimes Sprite or something. And I would just drink that all day, all night, you know, and it just got me through the 2 weeks of being in quarantine alone in my apartment doing nothing. Because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything really to keep me sane. So I was just looking at 4 walls. And all I had was Thai TV. So sometimes, sure, I'd watch the Muay Thai, you know. But I didn't have any gaming, I didn't have any consoles, I couldn't go outside and film anything or vlog anything. Wasn't working, wasn't earning money, so I couldn't afford to go and do anything. So I just kind of lost my mind a bit and I just started drinking heavily, like heavily. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not saying it's the alcohol's fault. I know it's the person's fault. It's on me. I should have handled it better. I didn't. Tough shit. So it was around this 2 weeks of non-stop binge drinking and isolated partying I was having that I knew I couldn't go on like this anymore. It's obviously bad. Probably gonna end up dying or, you know, ended up in the street or something. And with a bit of research, like I found out that Japan's borders were open. Not just to like workers, I think they were starting to allow tourists in too. So a light went off in my head, like a big light bulb. And I figured it would be best to try and get a job and go to somewhere that I want to spend the rest of my life in, where I want to settle. So I was staying at my grandparents for a few months. I went ahead and I applied for this job. I did the interview, I did 2 interviews. I got it, and now here I am in Yokohama. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I dislike or hate Thailand or anything like that. I feel like it's my second or third home, honestly. Like, Thailand will always be a big part of my life. I've made friends there who I'm probably gonna talk to forever. It will always be like another home to me, or a backup home or something. And I'm sure I'll visit it again. I'm probably gonna visit Thailand again next year and many more years to come. Like, it's always gonna be a return to place for me. So in conclusion, went to Thailand. Work sucked, wasn't the same. Everyone was sad. Got COVID, got drunk, got miserable. Quit work, went back to Australia, moved to Japan. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep riding.